Hello, welcome back to our channel. Andrea with Velvet Roads Homestead. I am going to be making sauerkraut today, so if you are interested in making your own sauerkraut, stay tuned. Welcome to today's video. Me and my son today are going to be making some sauerkraut, and I often get questions on how I do it, so I'd like to just take you along while we're doing it today. First things that you will need is your cabbage. I have two relatively big cabbage heads here. You will need salt. I like using the Himalayan pink salt, but I know a lot of people prefer the Redmond's real salt. Just whatever you have on hand is salt. So sea salt, Himalayan salt, anything like that. So we are making a spicy garlic and dill. So I've got my dill weed here. I've got some crushed red pepper flakes, and get your garlic ready. You will need some sort of a jar. I have 2 half-gallon mason jars here that I have the weights to and the lids. You will need, I've got my nice chef's knife here. You could also use a mandolin. I've done that before, just as long as it is you are able to get it really thin. I've got a giant bowl here and a cutting board. All right, so Earl is peeling the garlic here, and I am going to start chopping the cabbage. I'm going to save these outer leaves for the top of it, so you can just set those aside. You always want to try and get the core out. That way you don't have big giant chunks in there. It's not super easy to chew. Then I'm just going to start slicing as thin as possible. All right, so I've got this all chopped up. I've added a few cloves of garlic. Then the next thing you need to do is add your salt. I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons for that big of a cabbage. I usually do 2 tablespoons per 5 pounds. I would say that was roughly 5 pounds. All right, now that we have this salt added to our cabbage mixture, I'm gonna let that sit while I chop up the other one and put that in the bowl as well. Now that I have the cabbage in here, I'm gonna add the rest of my salt. And what I'm gonna do is now I'm just gonna take my hands and start working it together. The more you work it in, the more you work it together, the more liquid it's going to produce. It'll start to feel a little bit softer, a little bit wet. I'm gonna take my red pepper flakes and just sprinkle a few of them in there. And I'm gonna take my dill weed, sprinkle that in there. Look at all that. So numbers. It's gonna be so good. All right, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take all this and put it in my jar. All right, so we're gonna take our big mass of
Mama,
cabbage.
Mama,
Nope, I'm just gonna start putting it in the jar now. Part of one of the leaves that I saved and just kind of fold it so that it fits over. And I'm going to make sure that all of the stuff is under the liquid. Like so. Okay, so then the next items that I'm going to be using are my ferment weight. This is for the wide rimmed mason jar. And so I'm gonna plop this right on top of my jar. And then I'm gonna put this on top and seal it with a normal, I mean, it kind of looks like a nipple. Looks like a nipple. So you're gonna put the canning ring around it and then seal it right on top of it. Let me show you how I do it.
looks good.
All right, So now that I have my jar, I'm gonna push it down into the liquid.
I knew that was there.
Push it down into the liquid. I'm gonna put this on. Make sure there's no food around the edges. And then seal it pretty tight. As you can see, those two giant cabbage heads only made 1 half-gallon jar.